Hi, welcome to today's lesson. Today we're looking at solving quadratic equations. Solving quads. Okay, this is quite an important one because a lot of the algebra that you do in year 9 and year 10 revolves around solving quadratic equations. Okay, so let's take a look at it. The first thing we're going to do is I just want to make sure that everyone's on the same page with me. The general form for a quadratic equation is ax squared plus bx plus c. Now, I wrote there equals to 0 because whenever we're solving a quadratic equation, what we want to do is we want to get everything to one side so that everything equals 0. We want nothing on the other side of the equal sign, and then we want to factorize that trinomial, 1, 2, 3, into two linear factors, two binomials. Okay, so let's take a look at an example, e.g. we've got x squared plus 4x plus 3. X squared plus 4x plus 3 equals 0. Okay, so here's my thinking. My thinking is that I want factors of the first term, factors of a, which in this case a is 1. So if a is 1, my factors are 1 and 1. Okay, this is why this format where a is 1 is you usually start off on, okay, because it's slightly easier, because you don't have to actually worry about the combinations of that. And I want factors of my last term, 3. And factors of 3 is prime, so I've just got 3 and 1. Are you with me? Now, here's the thinking for when we get onto harder quadratics where a is not 1. What I want is I want the multiplication, the product of that factor with that factor, some kind of combination that will then combine to give me plus 4. Okay. Now, because this is 1 and 1, I don't have to worry about how they combine. You'll see when I get into another one what I mean. So if I do 1 times 3 and 1 times 1, right? 1 times 3 is 3, and 1 times 1 is 1. You with me? And I want to combine these to get 4. Well, I would like positive 3 and positive 1 to make positive 4. If I had negative 4 here, then I'd like negative 3 and negative 1. If I had 2 here, then I'd like positive 3 and negative 1. 3 minus 1 is 2. Okay, so it depends on what this is. Depends on how they combine. Sometimes they won't combine to make it. If this is negative and that's negative 4, for example, you won't get it. It doesn't work. Okay, you'll see when you get more advanced than this and when you get more comfortable in this why it doesn't work. Okay, but let's just take a quick look. Right, so I've got x, well 1x and 1x. Okay, 1x and 1x. Okay, and now I would need 3 and 1. Because I've got 1x and 1x, I don't have to worry about the combination of the 3 and 1 where it goes. In the more advanced one, I'll show you do have to worry. Right. So, in order to make positive 4, I need positive 3 and positive 1. Well, the only way that that's going to make positive 4 is if this is positive 3 and that's positive 1. Are you with me? And then that's it. We've pretty much done now. My solution to this, x plus 3 equals 0. I equate each of the linears to 0. So x equals negative 3, opposite of plus 3 is minus 3. And then this linear side and this side, x plus 1 equals to 0, opposite of plus 1 is minus 1, so x equals minus 1. So those are my two solutions, x equals minus 3 or x equals minus 1. Okay, those are the two answers that would make that equal to 0. Okay, the reason why I equate each linear to 0 is because of 0 times anything will be 0, or 0 times anything will be 0. That's what we do. We get it all to one side, factorize it, equate each factor to 0. So we're turning a quadratic equation into solving two linears. Are you with me? Fantastic. Now, let's try something a little bit trickier. What I would do is, if I was teaching this in the class, we'd look at this a little bit, and then the kids would go and we'd do a whole bunch of practice of this. Okay, because you need to be good at this before you can start introducing a leading term not equal to 1 there. But because this is a video format, and you can replay and go stop and pause and go away from this and come back and all that jazz, I'm just going to jump straight into where a is 0. Is not equal to 1, it's 2. Okay, so let's just make some space here, right, because you've got that. So let's look at this e.g. So this example is 2x squared minus 9x equals 5. Okay, so don't let it freak you out the fact that I've got it like this. All this means that I've added one extra step onto your working. I want to get everything onto one side, so everything equals 0. So I've got 2x squared minus 9x minus 5 equals 0. Opposite to other side. Piece of cake. Alright. Now, it's a quadratic, right? 3 terms, everything's on this side, I can look at the factors. Okay, so let's look at the factors. Here. Now, this is where it's slightly different to the top one. A now is not 1, it's 2. So I've got to look at factors of 2. Well, 2 is still prime, so the only factors are 2 and 1. Okay. C is 5. Don't worry about the sign just yet. 5. And the 5 is also prime, so the only factors are 5 and 1. Now, this is where it's difficult to explain this. Well, is it difficult? I don't know. Let me just try it. Give me a shot. Okay. So what we want is we want combinations of this multiplication with that gives us 9. Okay. So let me do it. Let me guess the wrong one. Let me try cross them. 1 times 5 and 2 times 1. So if I do 1 times 5, I get 5. If I do 2 times 1, I get 2. 5 and 2 will give me 7 or 3. So that's not going to work. All right. So let's try the different combination. 2 times 5 is 10. 1 times 1 is 1. That looks promising. 2 times 5 is 10, and 1 times 1 is 1. Now 10 and 1 are going to give me 11 or 9. 9 is the one I want. Look, I want 9 here. Okay, so that's the combo I'm going to use. 2 times 5 and 1 times 1. Okay, so let's write it out. Oh, I'm using blue for this one. So, with this one, right, with the x squareds, I need 2x, and 1x. I'm not bothering writing the 1. You with me? With the c terms, now here's the other trick. If I want them multiplied together, they can't be in the same bracket. If I've got the 5 in this bracket, it will never be multiplied by the 2. Okay? So the 5 has to be in this bracket. And the only spot free is there. If I've got this 1 and I want to multiply it by the other one, it has to be in this bracket. That's the only spot free. Okay. Now comes to the, well, it starts with trial and error, but I'm going to show you a trick in a second. Okay. So this is what I'm thinking. In order to make negative 9, well, if I had positive 10 minus 1, then I would get positive 9. But if I had negative 10 and plus 1, then I would get negative 9. Are you with me? Okay. So the only way to make 2 times 5 into negative is if I put a negative there. 2 times negative 5 gives me negative 10. Negative. And the only way to make 1 times 1 into positive is if I put a positive there. If there was a negative there, then it would be negative 1. So it's going to be positive. Are you with me so far? Slightly tricky, but I'm going to show you a shortcut in a second. So this gives me 2 answers, all right? 2 solutions. I've got one solution where I've got 2x plus 1 equals 0. X equals opposite plus 1 is minus 1. Opposite times by 2 is divided by 2. You can break that down into a couple of steps if you want. Or I've got this one where I've got x minus 5 equals 0. X equals opposite minus 5 is plus 5. Okay, so there's my 2 solutions. X equals 5 or x equals negative a half. Everyone with me? Okay. It is a little bit tricky, especially if this is the first time you're seeing this, okay? I would do lots of these first to get used to the breaking up into factorizing and to understand the signs before I start jumping onto these where a is not 1. But let's look at a trick. Well, it's not really a trick, it's just understanding it. If you understand it well, you can use it even faster. Okay. Now this wasn't shown to me until like year 12, and I can't believe that no one ever bothered to show this to me. So my maths teacher, wherever you are, I'm going to find you. So this one, x squared minus 5x plus 6 equals 0. Okay, so here's what we're going to look at. I'm going to factorize this one quickly. It's an easy one, but this trick works for both of them. Okay. So I've got factors of x and factors of 6. Now I'm going to jump this because you can go and check this yourself. Right, factors of 6 are 2 and 3. Okay, that would give me 5. Or 6 and 1. That would also give me 5. Okay? Equals 0 equals 0. Okay, now here's the thing that helps. This sign, if it's positive, it means the signs are the same. If it's negative, it means the signs are different. Now the reason for that is this idea. A positive times a positive gives me a positive. Or a negative times a negative also gives me a positive. But a positive times a negative will give me a negative. Okay, So if this is positive, then these two signs have to be the same. Or if this is negative, then these two signs would be different. Right? Doesn't tell you what they are, it just tells you if they're the same or different. This sign, however, goes to the biggest combo. Now I say biggest combo because in here you don't have to worry about combos because A is 1. But when you get into the harder ones, you have to worry about whether the combination of this term with the front term with that term will make it bigger or what. So this goes to the biggest combo. So what I want is I want the same signs for the biggest combo. Well, which is bigger, 2 times 3 or 3 times, sorry, 1 times 3 or 2 times 1? Well, 1 times 3, so that's negative, but the signs are the same, so that's negative. Now let me show you if I did that with this. If this is negative, and then this is negative, negative 6 times negative 1 still gives me positive 6. But negative 6 and negative 1 gives me negative 7. Alright? Not negative 5. So this option actually doesn't work. So there's the only solution to that thing by looking at the signs. Okay? It's a tricky one. 6 and 5 always gives me these two guys. And I have to decide which of the combination it is. Okay? Right. But I'm rushing this a bit because I want to get through this all. So let's look at putting it all together. Okay? So here is where you're going to be getting to, or where you should have got to. 2x squared minus 9x plus 10 equals 0. Okay, so I think to myself, fantastic, Mr. Roosh. Right, what are the factors of 2? 2 is 2 and 1. What are the factors of 10? I've got the factors of 10 are 10 and 1, always consider that one, and 5 and 2. Alright, so now I'm going to say, how do I get 9? Well, let's try all the different combos. Okay, I want to be able to write down 2x, another number x, another number equals 0. Let's do all the combos. I'm going to go through this really quickly. You can play this over. 2 times 10 is 10, 1 times 1 is 1. Sorry, 2 times 10 is 20, 1 times 1 is 1. I either get 21 or 19, so that's not going to work. 2 times 1 is 2, 1 times 10 is 10. I either get 12 or 8. So 10 and 1 actually doesn't work with any combination of 2 and 1, right? So let's try this. 2 times 5 is 10, 1 times 2 is 2. I either get 12 or 8. It's not going to work. 2 times 2 is 4, 1 times 5 is 5. I either get 1 or 9. There it is. I want 2 times 2 and 1 times 5. Are you with me? So get 4 and 9. 4 and 5, sorry. 1 times 5 is 5, 2 times 2 is 4. So that will give me 9. Okay. You'll probably get better at this and noticing how combos work, and so you'll hit on them quicker. Alright, you won't have to check every single factor as you practice more and more of these. Okay. Now, my rule is, or my hint is, if I want them multiplied by each other, they can't be in the same bracket. So I want the 2 times the 2, so this 2 has got to be here. And I want the 1 times the 5, so this 5 has got to be here. You're with me? Okay. Now I look at this. This sign is plus, so it says the signs are the same. This sign is minus, so it says the biggest one has to be minus. 2 times 2 is 4, 5 times 1 is 5, so this one has to be minus, but if the signs are the same, that one has to be minus. And we're done. Okay? We're completely done. This gives me 2x minus 5 equals 0. X equals opposite of minus 5 is plus 5. Opposite times by 2 is divided by 2. 5 over 2. Okay? And this one gives me x minus 2 equals 0. X equals 2. Super. Alright. This looks confusing, but the more you do of it, the better you'll get at it. Okay? And the faster you'll get at it. This, I find, is so useful. It took me ages. It used to take me ages when I was in school to actually work out these combinations. Okay? Especially when you start getting things with 3 sets of factors or 4 sets of factors. But as soon as you find the numerical combination, don't worry about the sign, as soon as you find the numerical combination, these rules or tips with the signs will help you speed up allocating the sign. Alright, okay. You do need to go practice this. This is not a shot in the dark. It's not a straightforward thing, sorry, I should say. It does take some work to get used to these. Alright, but go read up again on the blog, go read up on the notes, go check the videos, yada yada. Okay, just remember, I'm here for you.